Okay, so it's day 7. So today we're in DC. Plan is basically to go to the main part of town where everything is, the White House, Capitol Hill, all that kind of thing. And apparently the Bible Museum is around there as well. So that's something we'd like to check out today. We'll then see whatever else we can see for the rest of that day, and we'll probably record some of it for you. And then whatever we don't see, if it's just buildings and architecture, we'll probably leave till tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow morning we head down to Florida, or towards Florida, probably stopping at North Carolina, South Carolina instead. So that's the plan for today.
The nice thing is we're 20 minutes away from all of the stuff, and all of the stuff is in one place. And when I say all of the stuff, I mean the stuff we're visiting.
Yeah, we've been warned that parking is not super easy around there, but you can pre-book it through a system, so we'll probably try to use that. But yeah, it's a much shorter commute than it was in New York, and we have a car now, and everything's very walkable, so should be fun. So we made it to the Bible Museum. It's a pretty cool place, and it has a lot of different exhibits. And so I'm thinking I'll just sort of show clips of those exhibits to some background music, and you can hopefully enjoy them. The one that I have in front of me now is the Garden of the Bible. So this place basically finds something that was mentioned in the Bible, for example, and shows you what the actual plant would have looked like, which is pretty cool. And it's actually a garden with all of these plants. So I'll give you some more footage of this, and we'll probably cut to other things. we were in one of the exhibits, and one of the things that caught my eye was they have a replica of the Gutenberg press, which was the original printing press that sort of enabled the first prints of the Bible, as opposed to just scribes, recording and copying out manuscripts and scrolls. So they have it's a working version here. You can see a little bit about information about it. You can see the machine itself. You can see what is effectively the die. And I was just asking the person who's running this about how that works. Does that mean you need a different metal page for every part of the Bible? And it turns out effectively yes, but in order to reduce costs, every letter has its own sort of metal die, and the letters are rearranged in that metal plate in order to make or print out one page of the Bible. And that makes setting up the plate the thing that takes the most time, but actually printing things being quite quick. So you can imagine something like that allows you to print something at scale. You could print 1,000 of the same page pretty easily, and that's the time where it makes sense to switch from one die to the next to the next. So I thought that was really cool. Right, so we just finished up with the Bible Museum. Mark, what do you think of it?
It's honestly one of the more lively experiences I've had of the Bible portrayed. I knew that there was going to be a lot of history and documentation and how it's influenced people and things like that, but I just didn't think it would be to that extent. And there is a beautiful walkthrough audio-visual presentation that we went through, both of the Old and New Testament, although the Old Testament was a bit more impressive, if I'm being honest.
I was going to ask what was your favourite part.
Yeah.
And I imagine it would be that.
Yeah, there's this part, so they go from the start of the Bible and they're like, in the beginning there was darkness and the whole room goes like pitch black. And then it's like God said, let there be light, and there's like a white light that flashes and you're like you kind of
you
like
feel like you've gone blind.
Yeah, but I imagine that's obviously how it would have happened, but it was awesome to see. Yeah.
So I imagine that's most people's favourites. To pick something different, I actually really liked the room with the prophets that were painted.
Oh yeah.
So there were some shots of that, I think, in the previous time lapse. But I thought it was kind of cool because you don't often think of those people as humans with physical characteristics or whatever. They kind of feel almost above that, so it was kind of nice to see them all visualized. Yeah, we're on our way right now to Capitol Hill, which is one of the famous Washington DC landmarks, and then we're going to work our way across and see a couple of those. So you'll probably see those things soon, and then we're going to figure out a place to have dinner later.
Yes.
So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you soon.
Gotcha.
Bye. Alright, we're at Capitol Hill. You can see behind us is the Capitol Hill building. It's pretty impressive, to be honest, and we were just out of a room with congressmen, officers and stuff like that, and that was pretty impressive as well. But also the view is pretty impressive. If you look over here, it's a bit hard to take because it will be a widescreen, but you can see the giant Washington Monument all the way across, and the water and the grass and everything leading up to it. So it's a pretty cool view if you sort of happen to work or live or be anywhere near this building. So yeah, this is definitely one of the best looking stops on our trip, and I'll keep you updated for more. Alright, we made it to the White House. Turns out the White House is hidden very securely behind 3 separate fences. So as you can see over here, we have 3 separate fences and then the White House. So it is that iconic building of Mark's Lego set that we all know about, but it turns out it's much harder to get closer to it than we initially thought.
Mine's not protected by 3 fences.
No, yeah, Mark's White House has a lot less security. We're heading back to our car now, passing by, to start with, the Washington Monument, which we're a little bit closer to now, so you probably see it a little bit better in the GoPro footage. And yeah, a couple of stops along the way. So it's been interesting seeing a couple of the buildings. Honestly, there's some surprisingly impressive ones for like the Environmental Protection Agency, which we don't quite know why it's so impressive, but it just is. And there was an interesting quote that the IRS had, which is basically like, taxes are what pays for our society. IRS is the collections agency here in the US, and obviously no one likes that, but they are an important part of how our government runs. So yeah, there's some interesting, impressive buildings. So maybe put a photo or 2 up of them now, and some more famous ones as well. So that's probably it for monuments for today. I think last plans for today are really dinner and then heading back home. So we'll probably see you for one of those 2. I might do a bit of a recording in the car. It'd be good to test out the time lapse again. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you soon. Bye. All right, so we're back in our rooms after quite a long day, fair bit of walking. I think
Yeah.
my watch had like 5 and a bit Ks in one go, which is a fair while. I think last video was at the White House. We've just after that we went to the Lincoln Memorial. It was quite cool, quite nice. I'll put a photo on Mark's face. No, and then we went and had dinner at what was the dinner place called?
Street bowl.
Something like that. It was like a salad bowl place. So it was not too bad. A little bit healthier, and then got a couple of things from Whole Foods. So plan for tomorrow is basically heading towards Florida. Might pass by the Pentagon. It's just see it from the outside. I don't think we can go inside. We had a chat with some people from North Carolina and Virginia today, and they recommended stopping at a place called Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. So we're maybe looking at accommodation there. It's around 6.5 hours away. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and maybe that's where you'll see us tomorrow. So.
Yeah. We're kind of dead today because everything is in the same location.
Yeah.
But when we say that, everything's like 1 or 2 kilometers walking distance away.
Yeah.
But honestly, the buildings are insanely massive here.
Oh, yeah,
Very
they are.
elaborate, very detailed. I was actually thinking, I don't think I've mentioned this to Jacob yet, so you guys are the first to hear this, but
Ooh.
I wonder if they have like a lot of chiseled workers, like, cutting out the letters and stuff like that, because it is very, very impressive
Yeah.
when you see all of that.
Stonemason seems like a legitimate job here, whereas I don't think there's anywhere in Sydney that could be a
No,
thing.
you're not cutting out a picture of Albanese.
No, it was pretty impressive. And this huge building was the capital of the IRS, right? The tax revenue sort of government body. So, yeah,
But the
it's
bulk of
interesting
our
to see.
day was at the Museum of the Bible. We spent
Yes.
hours there.
As you could probably tell from the time lapses I included, Bible Museum is probably makes up half this video.
Yeah.
But it was pretty impressive.
It is
So.
really. I wouldn't even just encourage it for Christians. I literally would encourage everyone to go and see this place. It is an astounding thing, and it even goes to explain how the Bible has had its impact on mankind as a whole. So not just people who are Christians.
Yeah. All right. Well, ringing endorsement for that. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.